Hey, how you doing? Uh, Good afternoon. Good afternoon here in West Africa. Good morning on in the US. Good afternoon in the UK. Wherever you joining us from. It's just a time I get to come online here on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, and it's going to go on YouTube also. And every Sunday in the afternoon, just do a book club. We're reading several books. This is our sixth book in the series we're reading right now, and it's The Good Life. It's a book that was released here in January. It's The Good Life by Robert Waldinger and Marc Schulz. They released here in January of this year, and it's a compilation of the result of adult development study, by the Harvard School for Adult Development, and it's being led right now by Robert Waldinger and Marc Schulz. So this is just a compilation of their study, the results, so try to see the study, the results, and see what we can learn from it and how we can apply it into our own individual lives and, increase our consciousness and our living, so that's all we're trying to do, going through the book. So we're presently reading chapter 3. We've done 2 segments on chapter 3. This is going to be the 3rd segment on chapter 3. The first segment was just like an introduction to chapter 3. And chapter 3 is just talking about relationship on the winding road of life. Relationship pretty much in adulthood. That's what we're looking at in chapter 3. So we had an introduction to it the first week. Last week we talked about adolescence, and today we're going to be talking about young adulthood. That's what we're going to focus on today. This time is pretty much me talking to my young self, right? I'm 56, so I do not qualify as an adolescent, nor do I qualify as a young adult. I do qualify as what you might call a late adult. So when we're talking about me, next week, that's going to be the 4th and possibly last segment in chapter 3. Even though I'm not in adolescence right now, no, am I a young adult right now? Obviously, there are stages of life that I've lived through. Right. I wish I knew the things I know today, and I would have had to live it better. So this is my opportunity to talk to my younger self, about things that I could have done that would help me to lead and gain or optimize or have the best value, from my young adulthood. That's what I'm hoping to get from the engagement, today as we go through it. Maybe I'll get some of my people to come along, but if no one comes along, we'll see what we can do. Typically it's best when we have an interaction, but we'll make the best of what we have. That's what life is, right? Life is not about crying over spilled milk. You make the best of what you have, so that's what we do, right? So I'm going to bring up my slides here, and you're not going to see it on Instagram Live, but you're going to get to see it on Facebook Live and also on YouTube, but I'm going to bring through it, and we're going to run through the slides and talk about young adulthood today. That's what we're focused on today. All right, like I said, you can see my slides are on Facebook Live, and you'll be able to see it also on YouTube. We're not streaming live on YouTube because I can only do one streaming between on my laptop, so, and I already have Instagram Live going on my phone. I could actually put on my other laptop, and do YouTube Live at the same time. But why? I can always download it on YouTube Live later on. So let's make the best of what we have. We're just gonna go through it. So I'm gonna download it after now on YouTube, and you all get to see it. We have all of videos, on YouTube, so get into 2,000 videos right now. We probably need to start cutting some off. That hoping it blesses someone. Anyways, let's go on with this. So that's a book. Again, and that's a picture of Marc Schulz and Robert Waldinger, the author of the book, the authors of the book. We kind of try to go through our schedule. Today we're gonna we're gonna do third segment in chapter 3. Do it one more next week, and hopefully maybe we're done with chapter 3. Then we'll go on to chapter 4 coming here in October. So again, we're talking about relationship on the winding road of life. We're pretty much talking about relationship in adulthood. That's what we're focused on. And this is just looking at a chronological age, drawing here. And pretty much we get born with children, Then when we hit like age 10, thereabout, or we call it age 12, in our study here, we're getting to teenage age, right? 12, 13 will become teenagers, right? And the expectations upon our life begin to change, right? Not just expectations of people, but there begins to be some physiological, physical, mental change, hormones begins to flow through the body, and those hormones begin to demand new things from us, begin to grow features that mark us out as in the gender that we have, and those begin to force us to change, as it were, and whether we'll enjoy it or make the best of it, is the way we handle those cards, those hormones that begin to flow in the body of the adolescent. And we did a bit of talk around that last week, so that happens until age 19, right? Age 19, it's the end of the teenage phase or adolescent phase of life, then we'll go to age 20. Actually, the World Health Organization considers youth, right, to go up to 24, but that doesn't change adolescence. Adolescence, from an age bracket, goes up to 19, right? Teenage. That doesn't mean that, not everybody, it's not a sudden break, right? There's an overflow to the young adulthood. No, not everybody's prepared or becomes a young adult immediately just because the chronological, age is there, that there are overlaps, between the two. Yeah, and as we talk about the young adulthood, we'll probably begin to see a bit of that, So from age 20, and different people bracket it in different ways, right? People talk about the young adult, the middle adult, the late adult, and the elderly, and people bracket it in different ways. The most popular one is, some people bracket from 20 to 30, 20 to 35, 20 to 40. Our book puts it as 20 to 40, right? Which pretty much will carry the early or young adults, and will carry some of the part of the middle adults. But probably it's more popular to stay with a 20 to 40. There's that popular saying that life begins at 40, right? So the young adults phase of life is pretty much to prepare us for life. We're children, where we're dependent. We become adolescents, teenagers, where we begin to gain independence. Want to use that independence. We begin to tear ourselves away from the things that are holding us to themselves. Begin to claim our independence. As we grow, right, through the adolescent period, right, and through the young adult period, we begin to then use that independence that we have gained and we're gaining, to prepare ourselves for life. right? So typically we say life begins at 40 is because through the young adulthood, we're now seemingly prepared, to harness life. We're seemingly at a point where we're supposed to know what we have, and have our armory prepared for battle, the battle of life. The brain development itself does not end until mid-20, for some people, late 20s. So the brain is continuously developing, right? From all the development that is taking place, through big childhood, through the adolescent period, the last part of the brain to develop is called the prefrontal cortex, which is just a part right behind the forehead, right? And that's a place that we need to make decisions. Is the place we need to make decisions, to plan, and pretty much to harness life. The prefrontal cortex is that place also that makes us curious, right? In a sense, it's the parallel of the conscious mind. So as it develops, I guess, where it increases our consciousness, it increases our awareness, right? And that part of the brain is not fully developed until mid-20. So that's why a lot of people will talk about will extend the youth, and sometimes extend adolescence up to age 24, 25, because they're trying to map it with the brain development. The prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until mid-20, 24, 25, and in some cases late 20. Then your brain is now then ready, to face life. So through the young adulthood, your brain is developing. Your brain, one of the armory that you need to face life, is developing, right? So that's why sometimes also people will advise, right? People will ask, what's the best age to marry, right? And though some people get married, 18, 19, yes, you are now from 19, the end of your teen, you're now becoming an adult when you're 19 plus, but changes are still taking place in your body. Even the body, I read, physical body doesn't finish developing until late 20s, right? So sometimes then it's advisable not to marry until 24, 25, when your ability to truly make decision is developed, right? Your brain is fully able to take cognizance of all the factors you need to make the right decision in life, right? So even though it's not a caught-all science, that it's probably the plus minus is probably best to wait to marry till about 24, 25, thereabout, then maybe you're sure of what you're doing. 18, 19, you don't fully have your brain, so you see sometimes, and it's not cultural. If you're willing to make the sacrifice, you can always make it work, so, but if it's possible, it's good to wait. If you're willing to make the sacrifice to make it work, yeah, but it's what you might call on the average. If you're then looking at the changes that are taking place on the inside of you, right? Your brain is not fully developed, right, until you're about 24, 25, so then you probably best time to make the decision for your life, right? But I'm beating that a bit. Let me move on that. So talking about the young adults, again, the book puts it from 20 to 40, right? As the young adults, and pretty much it's a transition period, right? But don't forget, again, like I said, your brain is growing. Your brain is developed, but it's fully developed at 24, 25, and for some people, late 20s, right? So you then have your 30s, as it were, to use the fully developed brain, to harness life, to get you fully settled to live life, right? So So it is a transition period because, again, your physical body itself does not stop growing until about late 20s, right, on the average. For some people, it could come earlier. So for some people, it come later, but there's a whole lot of development taking place in your body through this process, and your ability to know what is going on in your body, the hormones that are flowing inside of you. It helps you to use those changes for your own benefit, and not that they would use you. Right. If hormones use you, you're going to have a disaster of a life. You're not going to win in life. Winning in life is about understanding the things that are going on in your body, in your brain, within your system, and your ability to harness it for your own good. Again, we'll talk about a SWOT analysis, right? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Then what are my threats? What are my opportunities, right? There are a lot of opportunities, right? As a young adult, right? You still have a whole lot of life ahead of you. You have strength. You have time. Those are opportunities, right? But you also have threats. It's because, like I said, your brain is developing. You're probably not fully aware of life. You're going that awareness, consciousness. You don't have experience, right? You can't see beyond your nose. You only know what you know, and so you're still learning. You're still trying to get your identity. That we started in adolescence, when you're asking, "Who am I?" Right, you're getting that answer through the young adulthood, and then what you get, the answers you get, you're beginning to use them. And for someone like me, one of those biggest issues I've had, through this period, was knowing who I was, because I'm not like any other person, I am what you might call a Sigma personality, right? And a Sigma personality is not that, it's the rarest kind of personality, right? So I am not like a lot of people. And that has been that troubled me, that confused me, because I saw myself different, and I thought I was just, But as I began to do personality studies, I came to a place of stability, as I began to know that, yes, there are people like me, right? And these are our weaknesses, our strengths. These are the things that we have tendencies towards, and and we can do something about it, right? And that's important as you go through the young adulthood. You're going to find out who you are, right? You might be an introvert, extrovert, you're melancholy, whatever it is that you are. There's nothing wrong with you. That's first thing you need to tell yourself. Irrespective of who you are, there's nothing wrong with you. If you're the loud person, it's okay. If you are the quiet person, it's okay. If you are whatever, there's nothing wrong with whoever you are, right? It's all about understanding who you are and then using you to win in life. You don't have to be any other person. If you're quiet, you don't have to be loud. If you're loud, you don't have to be quiet. If you're neither, you don't have to need any. Right? Just be you, right? So winning as a young adult is about finding out who you are and using who you are to win in life, right? So finding out who you are, finding out your strengths, your weaknesses, and there's a whole lot of study out there, there's a whole lot of study. There's no one that has been born that has not been studied. When I began to study personalities, it kind of amazes me, how predictable those things are. So they are predictable, right? Where, when they stated, I could, it just matches who I am, and kind of almost like magic, almost like someone was reading my mind, right? Irrespective of who you are, you've been studied, and you can find out about yourself and what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and how to use it for your own good, right? Through this period, we grow in different areas, whether it be, like your brain is growing, you're getting experience, you're supposedly growing spiritually, getting meaning for your life, you're supposedly growing intellectually, physically, you're growing up to a certain stage, and then you were there, and after you finish growing, that's it, right? Once you stop physically growing, that's it. That's one of the things I used to struggle with also. I wanted to probably grow taller. I used to kind of, somewhere in my mind, I wanted to grow taller, or I wanted to be taller than the people around me. And averagely, a lot of people see me as tall, but I don't see myself as tall. I used to think I was kind of short, and that was just a psychological thing, which probably also come from the fact that I was chasing a relationship that did not work, right? And I guess I also sold that to it, allowed it to control me. And that's probably why it didn't work, because I didn't understand that. I was being controlled by it rather than me controlling it, right? You have to be at the reign of our fears for your life. You have to be on the driver's seat. For as long as whatever it is that's controlling you to that thing, you are a slave, you're a servant, and you will not end well. Life is meant for you to be on the driver's seat. That's the way to win in life. Whatever it is, and I use the word whatsoever it is, that you're not on the driver's seat, will not end well. Even if it be going to church, being a Christian, being whatsoever. God created you to be on the driver's seat of your life. Not your pastor, not your imam, not even your parents. It's your life at the end of the day. Anybody can counsel you, anybody can advise you, but the final decision needs to be yours. And that's one of the things you need to then begin to learn in the young adult stage, the ability to make decision as your brain, that your prefrontal cortex, begins to be developed and be fully developed. It is for use. It is for use. It is for use, not just to have it. There's a reason why God kept it up to that time. And the reason why God gets it developed, fully developed in the young adult stage. It is for use. You have to learn to make decisions, right? Some of your decisions will not work, but that is experience. You learn and you're able to make better decisions after that. The only way you're going to truly grow in life, whether it be in the terms of the relationships you seek or are seeking you, a career in life, finance or whatsoever you're trying to grow, you need to learn to make decisions. You need to learn to exercise that brain that you have been given. Your life is meant for you to be on the driver's seat. Right? You are the master of your fate. You are the master of your destiny, right? And the captain of your soul, not your feelings, not your instincts, not your hormones. Flow. Instincts will be, but you must make the decision. You are the captain of this ship that is you. You are the captain. The decisions you make, what you do as a captain will determine your destiny. It will determine your late adult life. It will determine whether you're a success as a young adult or not, right? You need to. Don't be a dummy. Don't go to join any cult, right? You were not created to be a member of a cult. You are created to be a free moral agent. God wants you to make decisions. God wants you to be the captain of this ship that is you. Not your instincts, not your feelings, not your dogma, right? But you. Let's continue. So the young adult is trying to be financially independent. He's trying to establish relationships, some romantic, some just relationship, because we're created to relate. We get our essence, our fulfillment by relating with other people, right? And to different extent based on who we are, right? You need to respect your personality even in relationship. There are those that will have many friends. There are those that are not supposed to have many friends. Right? You need to know who you are and be you, because everybody's having many friends. So mean you have to have many friends. Yes, you have to relate, but the extent, the intensity, based on who you are. Know yourself and respect who you are. right? Don't be a copycat. Yes, there'll be pressure. You want you because we also get our fulfillment, by belonging. Why? So there'll be pressure to want to belong, but in belonging, don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. Your sense of self is the compass, is the director that will take you home. Don't lose yourself, because inside of yourself is a GPS that knows where you are going, right? Don't lose yourself, So, excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. Apologies. All right. So we take on responsibilities, right, as a young adult, right? So as an adult, there is identity exploration, right? We're trying to know who we are. Who am I, right? Why am I here? Where am I going to? How do I want to end life? And we need to begin to do that. We need to begin to envision what the future is for us, right? The vision, the future that we want, right? There's nothing that's cast in concrete. Is the future that you want is what you will get. There's no future written somewhere for you. It's a future that you create that you will get. You can write your future, right, for yourself. You don't have to take the future someone else has given to you, right? Any prophecy that does not empower you, you can deny, you can reject. You have that power to reject. You are a God, a small G God over your life. You determine your future. So don't take what anybody has just said as gospel. If you don't like it, if it doesn't empower you, you determine the future that you want, right? And begin to pursue that future that you want. Shoot high so you can get off the ground, right? Right. The future that you want. That's part of you exercising your brain. That's part of you exercise the endowment that God has given to you. You are the captain of your life. You are the master of your destiny. Use your mastery. Use your captaincy. Right? So the instability, there's changes. You're focusing yourself, right? There's a bit of overlap as I come into young adulthood. There's a bit of adolescence still in my body. There's still a bit of hormones still flowing inside of me. My brain is developing, right? Up until the time it's fully developed, then I begin to exercise and use it, right? So every young person, is creative, supposed to be. Some people are already being talked down. Some people, their spirit are killed. But when your spirit is alive, a young person is supposed to be creative, right? Is using this prefrontal cortex to envision the future that he or she wants, right? And the youth wants to play, right? That's part of youth. We have strength, right? That's what the youth has. The youth might lack wisdom, but they have strength. They use that strength to sow the seed of your future, right? In the later part of life, that strength will not be there like it is in youth. You will gain wisdom, yeah, no doubt. But one of the strengths of youth is strength, right? Physical strength, mental strength also, right? Well, mental strength you will gain as you get older, right? But at least you have physical strength, right? And then ability to use it. And also youth time is a place where you want to broaden yourself. You want to increase your knowledge, right? Then you can begin to specialize later on in life. But the more you know, the better. The more you know, the better decisions you can make. One of the things that helps for me is reading people's autobiography. It can help me to see life from other people's bed view, right? Then I'm able to then see myself in that, as it were, just to see reality from other people's angle. Not that I want to be like them, but just helps me, someone is gone the journey I want to go. I'm able to then see see life from that angle. I love the fact I just finished reading a few weeks ago David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, and I learned a lot from all he did, his ability to push beyond the limit of his body. That gave me faith. That gave me courage, to be able to push my own body also, because I was having some seeming weakness in some areas. I was beginning to doubt my health and all of that. And I just said, if David can do it, I too can do it. Right. And I've been able to push past the limitation. I'm in a better place today just because I read someone else's story. Right. That would help you as you read other people's story, as you go through your young adulthood. Don't be limited. Your father's compound is not the biggest. You need to go look at other compounds, so you can learn. You do that by reading books. You do that by reading people's story. Autobiographies will help you, right? If someone else made it, you too can make it. How did they make it? You learn that, and it helps you. It gives you vision. It helps you to be able to have mental models for success, right? So that's what will help you, and it's more than just being in the classroom. It's about stepping out, to perform, to actualize the things that are coming into your mind, So there is so the new responsibilities coming through young adulthood. People see them differently. There's a separation from parents, especially for men. For women, they probably don't ever separate from parents. But you have new things you're pursuing. I'm married. I'm trying to take care of my family. I can't be as close to my parents as I would love to. Because I have new responsibilities at home I'm trying to keep. But it's not that I love them any less. But there are responsibilities that come as you come into adulthood, right? And the expectations of life itself. One of the prayers I had to make in life was, God, help me to be able to meet the responsibilities of every age that I find myself, right? So there are responsibilities through the young adulthood, and you need to be able to meet those responsibilities, those expectations as you go along. But that's not to put pressure. If you do the right things, if you make the best use of your time, you will be. Life, God has designed life such that if you do the right things, you will have no issue. If you're intentional, if you are proactive, you'll always be ahead of a curve. You will always be ahead of a curve, right? Financially, physically, and otherwise. If you're taking if you're intentional, you're proactive. Right, that means you are the captain. You're not given to feelings. You're not given to laziness. You're not given to instincts. You are making decisions. You're making judgments around life. You will always be ahead, right? So, obviously, the young adult time is a period to build, to rebuild. Because you're learning, you're building the foundation of your life, right? You're making decisions, right? But without having experience, right? Well, if I had to do my young adult life again, I'll do much better. I've learned a lot. I can have experience, things I didn't know how they would turn out. I know how they turned out. If I have to do it again, I'll tweak it better. And that's the beauty. And the Bible talks about, the honor of elders, of old people, is their gray hair, right? Is the experience, the rags, right? They've had the bond, they had bonds, the mistakes, right? And the successes they've had. That's what they have, that teenagers, the younger ones, don't have. That's what you can get from people ahead of you, because they've seen what you have not seen, what you will see. Right. And that's a beauty, right? We can learn from people that have gone ahead of us, right? And I hope some young people can learn from this. If you have questions, feel free. I can share, I can answer you from my privileged point of view. At 56, I passed the young adult stage, right? I'm in the old adult stage, right? And All right, let's see, Erickson is a psychoanalyst, about that. He believes that the main task in early adulthood is to establish intimate relationships, right? And it's not necessarily romantic relationship, but friendship, oneness, right? In the continuum of life, we all start dependent. Then through our time of hey, I see someone join me. Walkout Hotel. Thank you. Thanks for coming along. So through a time of adolescence to young adulthood, we're gaining independence, right? But as we're gaining independence, that's not the end of it. Some people stop there. They're just selfish about life. They don't progress. They just want to be independent, right? You don't get life by being on your own, right? Life is meant to be shared. You gain independence, you share it. And that's the next stage of independence called the interdependent relationship, where I give some of my independence away just to be a blessing to someone else and to link up with people to gain what we call a mastermind relationship or synergistic relationship, where the sum of the two, where the result is higher than the sum of the two, right? So it's not just about gaining independence, it's about giving it away, in relationship, in interdependent relationship, right? Having a commonality with other, being a blessing to someone and allowing that person to be a blessing to you. Not everybody gets a breakthrough in this area, for whatever reason, fear, bad earlier experiences and all of that, but you need it. We all need relationship, irrespective of what your experience has been. If you have been beaten before, you need to learn. It's not only someone else's fault. If you have been beaten before, part of it was your fault. You need to take responsibility for what went wrong, learn from it and try and do it better again. But you are never going to succeed in life on your own. No dog, no pet will take the place of another human being, right? You need to learn to live life, right? Learn to live life, not just on your own, but with others, right? Not because you can't do without them, but because that is where you get the joy of life from. The essence of life is to relate with other people, not just yourself, right? And that's important. Otherwise, you are not going to get fulfilled in life. We're not going to get fulfilled in life all on our own, right? So there is a place to relate with other people to get the fullness that life has to offer, right? That's where I'm going to stop. That's kind of quick on the truth. I don't have anyone here and I have no questions, so I'm not going to keep you longer than this. If you have any questions for me, feel free on any of the portals I come on, Facebook, Instagram Live, or Instagram itself. This will get posted on my Instagram page. It's going to be on YouTube. Feel free, and we can answer it. But next week we're going to do the late adulthood, which is 40 and beyond. That's where I presently live, and hopefully I can share some things that are more recent than just talking about my past. But till then, God bless you. Have a great week ahead. Till next Sunday. Shalom.